Hey guys, it's Derek from Pacific Coast Auto here. We're looking at one of my favorite cars. It's a Toyota Crown Athlete V JZS170 series. And the 171 comes with the 1J turbocharged engine. That's the same engine that's in the Chaser, the Mark II, and the Cresta. Also, an earlier generation of this was the Supra engine. The Mark IV got the 2J. And in fact, you can get these cars with a 2J, but you can't get them with a turbocharged 2J. And a 1J is, depending on who you ask, kind of a better engine. Although the 2J is a great engine, the 1J is close to what I would consider a phenomenal engine. I love them so much. And sadly, this is the last generation of the Toyota Crown that ever got an inline 6-cylinder. After this, they went over to the V6. And so this one here, 2002, has 86,000 kilometers, was bought from auction, and it's going over to Canada on the opposite side of Canada. Now, most of our Canadian cars go over to New Westminster in BC. And this one's going over to Halifax, over on the other side of the country. One of the more expensive ports to ship to, it's odd. Now, everything in here looks pretty tidy. The auction inspection sheet noted that it has engine oil leak, but I don't actually see any engine oil leak, except for, oops, I spilled, and an O-ring here, which really isn't an issue, because, as you can see, it's not leaking that much. I'm going to close the hood here. Oh, and aftermarket horns. Everything on the car is stock, but we got aftermarket horns. And because I don't hate people who live near me, or live near our lot, I'm not going to test out that horn. Okay, so this is a post-purchase inspection. This was bought for a customer already. It's not currently for sale. We're just taking a look at the condition of it. I did kind of zoom in on this part. It's a little bit special. Not an awful lot special, but it's a little bit special. And I'll get to that in a second here. And yeah, rear-wheel drive, you can get them in four-wheel drive. Oh, the 2J version has a direct injection too, I think. It is a 2JZ-GTE, and F is for the direct injection. Okay, so this one, 2002, I'm just going to translate this quickly for you. 2002 Toyota Crown, that's the second to last year of it. Athlete V, the Athlete V version of it, or the JZS171, is the one that comes with the turbo 1J engine. It comes in a sedan body style here. You can also get it in a station wagon, which is very extremely cool to have a rear-wheel drive station wagon with the 280 horsepower turbocharged engine. Now, it is a little bit sad that these cars didn't come with manual transmission, only automatic, but it has shift yourself buttons on the steering wheel if you want to do shifting yourself. And ooh, the interior is so good in this one. Okay, on to the rest of this sheet. So 89, I'm sorry, did I say 86? I meant to say exactly 89,886 kilometers at the time of auction. It's a little bit higher now because it's transported to the closest port and then driven to us. Auction rate 4, interior C, exterior C. I would really give this a BB here. And so it's good to have a car that looks better than it does. Some of them look better, some of them look worse. If you're a first-time buyer, it's a little bit difficult to kind of understand what a car is like with these sheets. But definitely we can help you out with that. I've seen thousands of them now. Close to 2,000 cars that we've sold. Maybe just over 2,000 cars. I did count, I actually forgot though. So first time at auction, this one here, it comes with a TV tuner with the Navi. I'm going to leave the engine running a little bit here. I know a couple of people are like, why do you leave the engines running? When we look over the cars, what I want to do is make sure that the car runs at cold engine and at hot engine, and make sure that there are no issues when it's hot. And so I'm going to look at it in more details as we go along. Sometimes, for example, like a cooling system overheating, something like that, we want to know about before we try to ship it. So it has a analog TV with multi-touch display. Unfortunately, I don't really like that system very much, and I think you can get the Crown without that display too if you got a lower spec model, and I think you can get that lower spec model with this engine. I think the Navi was an option. Okay, so the muffler has been changed, front bumper has been changed, and the the rear under spoiler as well. Engine oil leak, I already went over that one. Interior is dirty, and it's not really that dirty, and it says interior animal hair, and there's not really animal hair inside. There's more animal hair on the windsock on my camera. I don't know if you could see that. than there is on the inside of this car. Steering wheel wear and tinted windows on it. If you look at the body diagram here, A1 means a small scratch, so a few of those. You can pause this if you really want to see. A2 and a B2. B2 here is probably the biggest damage, and this says A1 on the hood. There's actually a couple of dents. This to me is kind of annoying because I don't like hood dents, but you luckily can't see it very much. That's one of the bigger damages on the car. And so, great running engine, very nice, clean, and good smelling interior, and exterior in very clean and tidy shape. Now there's something I want to mention about the outside here. You may be able to see it a little bit, but the car has plastic and metal pieces, like the bumpers on the doors are plastic, and the side skirts and the bumpers on the front and rear are plastic. And the rest of it is metal. And they paint them all at the same time. And then it turns out that plastic pieces and metal pieces have different effects to the paint in paint fade. And so with this car, you can see it slightly and more so at different angles. It has a slight discoloration in whatever pieces are plastic. And I feel like you get that on several different colors, but I feel like this color has kind of maybe yellowed a little bit on some of the plastic pieces. And because it's a metallic, it only shows it at certain angles. It's a little bit strange. So the headlights here are faded, and this is a late model version, so you get slightly different headlights there with the two beams, kind of BMW-like. I love, love, love the boxy looks of this. It's boxy but smooth. Man, there are not very many cars that look as good as this, and it's definitely one of those cars that looks better in person than it does in pictures. It has a good presence to it. These are late model taillights, and they have circles inside. Okay, now onto the body kit, the thing I was talking about. So they make a version of this, and they only made 300 of them, called the Crown VX. And instead of your 280 horsepower, it has 300 horsepower. Limited edition, very cool version of the car. This car has the body parts from that. So the muffler, front bumper, and rear bumper have all been changed over from the VX version. And so you can identify the front bumper because it has the lip at the bottom, which the regular version doesn't. It has different inlet points, and then it has this line here that comes down like that on both sides. It's kind of apparent once you get used to how it looks. And then the rear bumper and the exhaust. I think the exhaust is bigger and better sounding, and 1J sounds so good with that exhaust. Just a slightly different bumper. You can see it's just the lip on the bottom section there. Okay. Now let's look at the back here. They said a B2. The dent is right here. It has some paint flex cracks, and then it's kind of like, oops, I bumped into a pole, and then the bumper has been moved back to the same original location. It has some flex cracks and a little bit of kinking in there. And then the A2 is this kind of scratch. This is an illumination plate, and so it would light up your numbers. It would only work with a Japanese plate though. Okay, so let's actually look in the trunk, because this kind of car, this is a big car in Japan. In fact, this might be similar to like a Crown Vic, in that the police use these, and the police came to visit me today. They were like, and it's weird, they pass me by all the time doing, I'm an idiot, I pulled the wrong thing. When I take pictures, they pass me by when they're doing their neighborhood patrols. Today they decided to stop by, and they're like, I would like to see your ID because you're taking pictures of a car with no plate on it. And I'm like, you guys see me all the time when I'm out here. Why is today any special? I wondered if the neighbors maybe were like sick of me. So you get a lot of room back here. And look, behind the tire hump, there's an awful lot of room here. And so the back extends quite a bit there, giving you a lot of room in the back. This way you don't need your hatchback to get tons of space inside. But what a classy looking vehicle, and I guess classy performing. And size wise, I would say probably somewhere around a 5 Series for this. And it has a feeling of being very well built, which is really good. I think that generally until you have owned enough cars, it's hard to tell what a well-built car feels like compared to one that's not well-built. For example, I love the Silvias. That S15 over there doesn't feel like a well-built car. As much as I love it, I'm sorry, Nissan. Well, that said, you can't make money on a car with skinny margins. And Crowns, they sold so many of these Crowns in Japan that it was easy for them to recuperate their costs on it. Whereas the Silvia, not very many of those S15s were sold. That's why they got discontinued after 3 years. Okay, so this one doesn't have the leather in it, which to me is a good thing. I don't like sitting on hot leather, and I don't like that sound that it makes. This is the original Crown logo, and Crown's been a car, I think they may have actually sold cars called the Crown in like Canada and America in like the 1960s, right when Toyota was becoming a thing. It was their popular car. Has always been their popular car. Everything in here works. Shifting is good. Now that it's at warm temperature here, we can turn the engine off. But before we do that, I want to show you one of my favorite things. It's unnecessary, but it's one of my favorite things. Alright, you see that? It says swing, you push it, and your vents oscillate back and forth. Now Toyota has these also on the JZS171 cars, which are also fantastic cars, and you can get those with the manual transmission. So this display here, this is what I was talking about. Because the AC is in this display, the controls for the AC, you can't take that out and change it to something else. Now luckily most people just use their phones for everything electronic inside the car, and it would be pretty easy to take this out. It's doubled in, and you can put whatever audio system or Bluetooth system you wanted into this. And so I don't think it's a huge problem. Okay, this is all classy looking. Got some pretend cup holders. I guess they would work. 350ml cans can go in there. Has never been smoked in. That's extra excellent. And I do very much like the black interior here. See the black with the dark wood. They come in different colors. I think that there's like a beige interior and a black interior, and there may be other ones too. And I really don't buy enough Crowns, and it's a shame. And I want one myself. I really do. I think Crowns, even the newer Crowns, like our next door neighbor, that one over there, has the next generation of Crown up from this. I think it's a gorgeous looking car, but I love the 1J enough that I would definitely go for this one over the newer generations of them. Okay, so we're going to end our video here, and hope you enjoyed this look at a Toyota Crown JZS171. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to post those into the comments. We're also working really hard to get our emails done, so if you email us, it might take a little bit of extra time. It has been like that for several months, but please send us an email. We will get back to you. So thanks everyone for watching, and have a nice day.